What if the financial mistake destroying your future doesn't feel like a mistake at all? What if it actually feels like progress? Four Americans, four completely different income levels, four completely different zip codes, and every single one of them is quietly bleeding wealth in the exact same way. A 71-year-old retired engineer in Ohio, a 55-year-old corporate attorney in Texas, a 40-year-old tech worker in Seattle, and a 26-year-old content creator in Austin. Different worlds, same trap. And the scariest part? Every single one of them thought they were doing it right. Here's what's uncomfortable about this mistake. It's not made by reckless people. It's not made by impulse buyers or people who never check their bank account. The people who fall into this trap are actually pretty thoughtful with money. They have budgets, they think before they spend, they consider themselves financially responsible. And that's precisely what makes it so lethal. Because at some point, every generation gets handed an invisible script, a quiet definition of what financial success is supposed to look like. A certain neighborhood, a certain vehicle, a certain annual vacation, a certain version of the good life. Nobody teaches it formally, nobody puts it in writing. It just enters you, through the people you grew up around, through the culture that shaped you, through the things that got applauded and the choices that got quietly judged. And the moment you could finally afford that version of success, you chased it, because it felt earned, it felt deserved, it felt like the logical next step. That's not greed, that's not carelessness. That's just a human being following the unwritten rulebook their generation handed them without ever stopping to ask who actually wrote it. And here's the part that makes it genuinely difficult to escape. From the inside, it never registers as a trap. It registers as achievement. And that feeling of arrival is exactly what keeps generation after generation locked inside the same cycle. Meet Donald. 71 years old, retired electrical engineer, spent 35 years working for the same manufacturing company in Columbus, Ohio, bought his home in the late 1970s for $82,000, raised 3 kids, maintained the lawn, finished the basement, added a deck. By every visible measure, Donald looked like the definition of American financial success. And here's the thing, he wasn't wrong to buy that home. His parents were renters their entire lives. Homeownership in his era meant stability. It meant you had made it. It meant you were building something real. And the numbers backed it up. That same home today is worth just over $380,000. On paper, Donald is comfortable. But here's the problem nobody talks about. Almost 80% of Donald's entire net worth is sitting in that one house. The company pension he counted on got quietly reduced during a corporate restructuring in the late 1990s. His 401k exists, but it was started too late and funded too conservatively to carry 20-plus years of retirement comfortably. Selling the house solves the math, but it means leaving the neighborhood his entire adult life is built around. Donald didn't make a reckless decision. He made the right decision for his generation's definition of wealth building. The mistake wasn't buying the home. The mistake was believing the home was the complete financial plan. He built the signal of wealth for 4 decades while quietly neglecting the infrastructure underneath it. One asset, one bet, one generation's unwritten rule followed perfectly.
Now meet Sandra, 55 years old, corporate attorney in Dallas, Texas, has earned a solid 6-figure income for the better part of 2 decades. From the outside, Sandra's life looks exactly like success. Beautiful home in a good school district, a German sedan in the driveway, a family vacation to Europe every summer, the right neighborhood, the right restaurants, the right everything. And here's the thing, she earned every bit of it. But watch what happened every time Sandra's income grew. Got her first big promotion at 34, upgraded the vehicle, made partner at 39, moved to a larger home, got a significant bonus at 44, added the lake house membership, extended the annual vacation by a week. Every single decision made complete logical sense in the moment. She could afford it. She'd worked incredibly hard for it. Nobody could argue with that. But here's what the numbers actually show. Every time Sandra's income increased, her expenses increased at almost exactly the same rate. The gap between what came in and what went out barely moved, just at a higher number each time. This is what wealth managers call lifestyle inflation, and it is the single most common reason high-earning Americans arrive at 55 with less financial security than their income should have built. Sandra has equity. Sandra has assets, but with roughly 10 years until retirement, the math is significantly tighter than it should be for someone earning at her level for this long. The trap for Sandra's generation wasn't spending. It was allowing the definition of a normal life to expand every single time the paycheck did. The arrival signal kept moving, and she kept chasing it. Every raise, every bonus, every single time. Now, meet Jason, 40 years old, senior software developer in Seattle, Washington. Smart guy, works hard, earns well above the national median income, and genuinely, the system made things harder for his generation. The 2008 financial crisis hit right when Jason was supposed to be building his foundation. Entry-level jobs evaporated overnight. Home prices recovered faster than salaries did. Student loan balances didn't care about any of that. That part is real. That part matters. But here's where it gets complicated. When the traditional signals of arrival, a home, real equity, a funded retirement account felt completely out of reach, Jason's generation found a different signal: experiences. 14 days in Japan, music festivals in the desert, weekend trips to Nashville, the tasting menu with the restaurant with the 3-month wait list, the concert that absolutely cannot be missed. And the entire cultural machine backed this completely. Collect experiences, not things. Money is just paper. You only live once. Every travel brand, every lifestyle publication, every influencer with the perfectly timed sunset photo told Jason's generation that this was actually the smarter approach to money. That experiences were the real investment, that traditional wealth building was outdated thinking. Jason has been to 22 countries. Genuinely beautiful memories, real ones. But at 40 years old, he has roughly $18,000 in his 401k, no property, and a low-level financial anxiety that hums quietly in the background every single month. The trap wasn't the travel itself. The trap was using experiences as a complete replacement for capital accumulation, and having an entire generation's culture validate that substitution as enlightened financial thinking. The passport got full. The portfolio stayed empty. Different costume, exact same trap. And then there's Maya, 26 years old, content creator and part-time marketing coordinator in Austin, Texas. Gen Z's most financially aware generation in American history. Maya knows what an index fund is. She understands compound growth. She talks about Roth IRA contributions like previous generations talked about the weather. She even invests $60 a month into a brokerage account. Consistent, disciplined, genuinely proud of it. But she's also spending close to $240 a month on things whose primary function is how they appear on camera. The curated apartment, the carefully selected wardrobe, the tech setup that communicates "I have arrived" to an audience that may or may not actually care. Maya's trap isn't ignorance, it's performance. Knowing the right financial language while the actual numbers quietly tell a different story. Investing $60 while spending 4 times that amount on the appearance of wealth. So, 4 Americans, 4 completely different decades, 1 trap. What does escaping it actually look like? Because people do escape it. Every single generation has people who stepped around it. And when you study what they did differently, it almost always comes down to one decision. They consciously chose to look less wealthy than they actually were, so their actual wealth could grow faster. They delayed the upgrade. They drove the older car a little longer.
They stayed in the smaller home an extra few years. They skipped the aesthetic overhaul. And they put the difference somewhere that compounded quietly, year after year, without making any noise on social media. Donald's version of escaping it would have been funding a diversified portfolio aggressively alongside the home purchase, not betting everything on one asset class. Sandra's version would have been banking 50% of every raise before lifestyle expansion ever had the chance to claim it, letting income growth outpace lifestyle growth just by a few percentage points every single year. Jason's version, one international trip annually instead of 4, the difference automatically transferred into a low-cost index fund every single month without negotiation. And Maya's version, make the actual investment number the thing worth posting about. Build the real figure faster than you build the appearance of the figure. The rule is straightforward. Assets first, lifestyle second, every single time. Not forever, just until your assets are generating enough that your lifestyle is genuinely funded by them, rather than funded by the next paycheck. That's the move. That's what every generation that figured it out actually did. Donald, Sandra, Jason, Maya, none of them are bad with money. None of them are unintelligent. They all just followed what their generation quietly told them success was supposed to look like, and they prioritized looking arrived over being arrived. Awareness is the first step out of the trap. Action is the second. So, it's time to be honest. Drop a comment below right now. Which of the 4 traps did you see yourself in? Are you Donald, Sandra, Jason, or Maya? Let's talk about it in the comments. If this video shifted your perspective, hit the like button so it can reach more people. Share it with a friend who might be chasing the wrong signal, and subscribe to keep building real substance over signals. I'll see you in the next one.